Hey everybody, this is Russ King and I'm here to do a quick demonstration video on a feature we've been working on for a quick model, and it's called Field Draw. And the idea is that you can take a very rough floor plan sketch of a house, something like this one here, and turn it into a 3D model that you can do load calcs and duct design on. So this is a one-story house, and as you can see, it's a pretty crude hand-drawn sketch of the floor plan. This is something that you could do yourself, or have the homeowner do it for you, or hire someone to go out and do it for you really quick. But it's real simple, real basic. I'll post probably another video on how to create a sketch like this, but it's pretty straightforward as long as you go out. The main thing is get the corners in the right places and the walls. So what we have here, and you can see there's a few mistakes, like this wall here got scratched out and got changed over here, but you basically have a corner here and it bends out, and then another corner comes in. That looks like the front door there. A little bay window comes around, and then a straight wall all the way across to the corner here with a side entry garage, and then a corner back here, and then a straight wall all the way down. An inside corner here goes back to an outside corner, across another outside corner comes down, then an inside corner, and a little bump out here. So this wall doesn't exist. The actual wall goes from here straight back to here, and then over and back like that. So there's a little bump out. Okay. And clearly this is not to scale, and by to scale what I mean is a 10-foot wall should be half as long as a 20-foot wall on the drawing if you were to measure it with a ruler or something like that. And so you can see here that this 8-foot wall is this long, and this 24-foot wall is not much longer than that 8-foot wall. So clearly this is not to scale. Here's 24-foot here that's bigger than this 24-foot, and you can see it's not even square. If they did it on graph paper, it'd probably look a little better, but the point here is to show that it doesn't have to be perfect. You can work with something like this. We got 58 feet across the back, and then the other thing that's on here that's important are the windows. And I like the architectural nomenclature for windows, where you have something like this. It says 6040. That means 6 foot 0 inches by 4 foot 0 inches, and the first one is the width and the second is the height. So it's a 6 foot 0 inch wide by 4 foot 0 inch high window, and that's pretty common architectural nomenclature. It gets a little weird when your feet is a double digit number. So like this garage door here is a 16070, but 99% of the windows are not wider or taller than 10 feet, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Alright, so we've got a door here, we've got a garage, we've got a garage door here. So the main thing we're concerned about is conditioned space. I like to go ahead and draw the garage and then just designate it as unconditioned space, because it looks weird if a house doesn't have a garage on it. And it's nice to be able to create a 3D model that actually looks like the house that you're modeling. It helps you check it. So we got windows, 6040s all the way around. There's a window in the garage. I'll go ahead and draw it in, but it doesn't serve any purpose really. 4010, 6068 sliding glass door here, 6068. There's a window. Those got changed their mind on that one. All this got scratched out, so there's 2 out here. There's a window there in the bathroom. Okay, so that all looks pretty good. Then the other thing that's important, if you're going to do a duct design, you need room by room load calculations. So you need the approximate dimensions of the rooms. They don't have to be perfect. The whole idea is when you have a room, you need to calculate the BTUs that are entering or leaving that room depending on the season. And the most important thing about a room is the window. So as long as the window is associated with the correct room, and the room is approximately the right size, your loads will be pretty good. If for some reason, let's say you were over 2 feet too far this way, what that would do is put a 2 foot wide swath of ceiling load into this room, which is not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It would also put a 2 foot wide wall section in the wrong room, and even that's not that big of a deal. But anyways, if you're close, you'll be good. It doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, so we've got a master bedroom back here, a master bath, master walk-in closet, and hall. So it looks like the hall probably runs down here. We got a bathroom here, bed 3, bed 2, living room, kitchen, dining room, utility room, pantry, and a powder room. And then of course the garage. The other thing you'll notice, this note down here says all 8-foot ceilings except master bed and living kitchen, which vault up to an 11-foot middle ridge. Okay, so master bed is back here. This says vault, so this dashed line here, and you see these say up and up. So the ceiling vaults up to a ridge that runs down the middle that's 11 foot with 8-foot plates. So there's a 3-foot tall vault in the middle of this room. Similarly for the living kitchen, right here, living kitchen, here's the vault, and it looks like it runs this direction. Okay, and it looks like there's a ceiling change. It says flat, so the dining room, this is all basically one big room here, living, kitchen, dining, and the entry. And so this vault comes down, and then there's a ceiling change here that goes to flat. So it starts flat, and then it vaults up, and then vaults back down this way. And I presume these are flat too. Okay, so there you go. Pretty rough, pretty crude. You know, you could probably do this. You could probably walk around the house and sketch this up, measure the rooms and everything in, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that. So not too bad. Okay, so here we are in Quick Model, and you'll see up here there's Field Draw. That's the feature that we're talking about. And but first we need to import the floor plan into Quick Model. So we go to floor plan mode here. The next thing we need to do is then import the floor plan. This one, top view, and then 2D, and then it looks like we need to rotate that. So let's see here. Tab rotates the plans. There we go. Okay, and so you see this is 58 feet across the back here. So the bigger the distance, the better. But it's you know, because this drawing is so out of scale, it's not super important, but you want to get it close. So we're just going to say that distance there is 58. We come down here and hit 58, enter, and then we want to do a vertical one. So grab your little blue arrows here, and here's a 24 feet over there, and call that 24. So I'm going to change this just a little bit, and maybe a little bit more. There we go. That looks a little better. Okay, so it'll be close enough. Alright, so now we're going to go to Field Draw mode, and what you do in Field Draw is you basically identify the corners, and it will connect those corners with walls. So I usually start in the lower left hand corner of the house, and I hold down the Alt-Shift key and I click, and it puts a little dot there. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next corner, whether it's an interior corner like this one or an exterior corner like this one, and then I'm just going to walk around the house. Okay, so here we go, Alt-Shift, and it draws everything square, so you need to compensate a little bit for that. Click, click. I'm just walking around. So this wall is really out of square, so I'm going to click over here and kind of square it up a little bit, and then I'm going to come down here, knowing that I have to come across to this corner. There's a little 1-foot wall there, and then a 45-degree wall, and then a straight wall, another 45-degree wall. And if it is not where you want it, you can just click on it and drag it over to where it needs to be, and then go back to Alt-Shift and just continue on around the house, and there we go. If I were to turn off the floor plan here, you can see that it created this perimeter. Now what that's going to do is that's going to be like a cookie cutter, and it's going to constrain the rooms that we're going to place inside there. But the first thing we need to do is get it to scale. So we followed the drawing, and we know the drawing is not to scale, so we need to get it to scale. And what we're going to do is we have these dimensions on here. So this is 12, 12. we got 24 across the back here, is we're going to go ahead and enter those lengths on these walls. Okay, so if I click on this wall, and you have to be a little precise when you click on it, you'll see the way I've drawn it, it's actually 21 feet down here in the lower left, and I need to make that 24. So I can go 24, enter. Now what it does is it shifts everything after. This was the point I started on. I should mention that too. Whatever point you start on, the first wall you draw, that's the one that you want to enter the length first, because what it's going to do, it's going to adjust, it's going to move everything after that point based on the dimensions that you enter. So everything afterward is going to adjust as you walk around the house and start putting this stuff in. Okay, and if you want, you can lighten the room a little bit so that you can see the dots a little bit better. Okay, so from here to here is our first point, and it's 24, and now it's to scale. It's 24 feet wide. So this distance here is 2 feet. So let's click on that, and the way it was drawn was 3.5, so that was a little long. So now it's 2. And then this one here, and by the way, you can if your scale drawing starts to deviate from your plans by too much, you can go back to floor plan and click on move floor plan, and you can readjust things to kind of help you out. So I see here that this is, it looks like 11, but it's actually 10. Okay, so I click on here. Oh, I got to go back to field draw. Click on this one, and it was drawn at 10.5. It needs to be 11. Enter. Now it's good. This distance is 2. Enter. There we go. This wall here is 14. There we go. And we've left our drawing just a little bit, so I'll bring it back just to make it a little closer. This distance is 16. There we go. And this one is 14. Okay. Alright, let's adjust our floor plan a little bit here, get it back down. So now this was our 58. This long wall across the back was 58. So I'm going to click on that. And oh, we were close, 57.5, so 58. Enter. Well, that was the one we scaled. That's why it was accurate, because we scaled based on that. 24 down here. Okay, 24. The garage is 24 and this utility room, but this wall here is going to be the sum of those two, so 32. Okay, let's adjust our floor plan here. Now we got this tricky little bay window here. So this one is 1 foot. These little bay windows, the best way to draw these is with your perpendicular distances. So you've got 3 foot this way and 3 foot this way, and you can sort of manually do that. So I know if that corner's there, and I go 1, 2, 3 here, and then go over 3, 1, 2, 3, then that's a nice 45-degree angle there. Let's line this one up too, make everything nice and square. So this wall is 7. Okay, and then we have the same thing here for the 3 foot by 3 foot. So if we go 1, 2, 3, that's good. 1, 2, 3, that looks pretty good. Okay, that one's 1 foot. And let's adjust the floor plan here. We'll need to be 5 feet. Okay, and this wall, if you can see behind there, says 12. This one is 12. This one is 2. That's this guy here. Let me scooch this over. So that's just 2 feet here. 2, and then this one is 12, and let's square it up a little bit this way. So 12. Now, if the dimensions were perfect, and we suspected they were not, this dot and this dot would land right back on each other. But in the grand scheme of things, considering all the dimensions that they went all the way around the house, they're only off by about a foot in one dimension, so that's actually pretty good. So I'm just going to true it up by grabbing this one and putting it right on top of that other one, and there we go. That's our true scaled perimeter of the house on top of a very not horrible but not great hand sketched floor plan. Let me turn off the floor plan and you can see it a little bit better. If I go into 3D mode, you can see that's the perimeter of the house, and that's all to scale based on the dimensions that they drew. Okay, now the next thing we have to do is draw the rooms. Okay, and the way you do the rooms, and what this does, this field draw, this perimeter, and this over here turns it on and off, by the way. This perimeter constrains the room, so you can plop the rooms down inside of it, and they bump up against this wall and give you a nice sort of template to keep everything inside of. So let's go back to top view and 2D mode, and next thing we're going to do is go into room mode, and we're just going to alt click places a room, and you can drag it and you'll see how it collides with that perimeter that we placed there. It just bumps up against it. You can't go past it. Okay, and that makes things go a lot faster. So just drag it to the width and drag it to the width this way, and let's turn our floor plan back on. Down here, floor plan. So you can see we're in the master bedroom, and the master bedroom is basically a square rectangle. The master bath in this little bump out area here. Okay, so if you want, you can just kind of move the floor plan off to the side where you can see it, and do your rooms, or if you want, you can try to put them up on top. You can also lighten the rooms with this little slide bar here, so they're not quite so dark. You can see through them. It changes the opacity. Let's go to room mode, drop down another room, slide it in there, and it looks like I actually did. I said it was 10, and I think I may have typed in 11 because I noticed the default room size is a 10 by 10, and when I put it in there, it says 10 by 10 by 8. It's a little bigger, so I think I messed up on that. So it's easy to fix. Just go back to field draw, click on that little corner. If you look real close, you can see that a little green dot shows that that's highlighted. I'm just going to move it over, and then move this one over, and there we go. We're back in business. Okay, go back to rooms, and we'll just put that master bath there, and then over here is the walk-in closet. Let's adjust the floor plan a little bit here, like so. Put a room here. Here's our bath. Okay, I'm looking at the line of our perimeter there, so it bumps up against there, and looks like the bath also includes the hallway. Okay, here's bed 3 down here. I'll line it up like so. So that's lined up there. Let's put bed 2. Okay. Let's go ahead and put the garage in here. And the garage is 24, and if I look down here, it tells you the dimensions. So if I keep going, look down on the left hand corner until it says 24, then I know I can stop right there. Okay, now that's 24 by 24. And while we're here, let's go ahead and designate the garage as unconditioned. Okay, so you see it's a slightly different color. Okay, now let's see, we've got this big living room here. There's a powder and pantry, kind of a narrow powder and pantry. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor plan off because it's a little distracting in the background. So you can see what we have here is this bay window like this. And so what I'm going to do is fill it up with rectangles as much as I can. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the perimeter for a second and put a little rectangle right in front. I just find that pink a little distracting sometimes. There we go. Okay, now all we have left are these little triangles. Okay, so we have this thing called triangle box, which is exactly that. And you select it, you hit tab until it's lined up the angle you want it to be. I'm going to turn off the perimeter, get it to snuggle in there, and just bring these over like so. Let's do another one over here. Shrink it down, fit it in, and there we go. Oops, mess that one up. There we go. And there you go. Now that doesn't look, this looks like a nice 45 degree. This one looks a little off, so I'm going to adjust it by just scooching it over this way and scooch that one over. Oops. And there, that looks much better, more square. Great. Okay, we can turn the perimeter back on if we need to, and you'll see that it's off by a tiny bit. We can adjust that by just coming in, and there we go. Fits in nice into our scaled perimeter, and that's all our rooms. Now, something we haven't done yet, let me turn the floor plan back on, is our vaulted ceilings. So there's a ridge running down here, and there's a ridge running down the middle of the master bedroom. So let's put those in. So the way we do vaulted ceilings, and it's best to be in 3D view for this, as you'll see here under rooms, vaulted ceiling box. So you alt click on top of a room and it puts this shape like this, sort of a wedge prism shape, and get it to line up on your room. Now this could be a single vaulted ceiling in one direction like so, or if, like in our case, we have a ridge running down the middle, and so we're going to need two of these. But let's get the height correct first. If you look down here, it says the height is 8. So let's bring that down. If you recall, it's going to be 3 because it's 8-foot plate heights and an 11-foot ridge. So we get it down to 3 on the height, then 8 plus 3 is 11, and then we just need to put another one on this side. Tab, tab. Get it to line up. You can go back to top view 2D if it helps. Sometimes it does. Also, you might remember that master bedroom was 16 feet wide, so we want this says 7.5, so this side's a little bigger. So let's bring this one over and then bring this one over. Now they're both 8. Yep. Okay. And we need to drop this one down. You can just eyeball it once you've got one that's right. The green handle raises and lowers the height. Boom. There we go. And that looks pretty good. Okay, now the same thing over the living and dining. I'm going to go ahead and go to top view and okay, so I'm going to place a vaulted ceiling here, but I have to see what direction it's facing, so I need to turn it off center just a little bit, and that's the direction we want. And now I'm going to put the other one in here too while we're here. Get that one the right direction. Okay, so now I know that they're at least angled the right direction. Let's go back to top and 2D, line it up. Okay, so you can tell by looking at it that this one's wider than this one down here. So let's adjust those. So now we got 8 foot and, which is it, length? Yep. So this one's still a little bit bigger. There we go. 8.5, 8.5. So now they're the same size. Okay, let's go back to 3D. And let's drop them down to the right height. So we want to drop them down until they're 3 foot high. There we go. Oops. Went too far on that other one. There we go. 3, 3. Good. Okay. I'm going to turn off the perimeter. And there's our basic shell of our house. Okay. The last thing we have to do is to put the windows on there, which means we got to open up that floor plan again. Alright, so let's turn the floor plan back on down here, and we'll see our windows, and we can drag the floor plan around to where we can see our window dimensions. Okay, so we have a window mode. Okay, turn off the floor plan, get rid of that floor plan, and there is your house. 3D model of the house. But the main purpose of this video was to take a very crude sketch of the house like this, that's good enough, not great, but good enough, and turn it into a 3D model like this that does all the area takeoffs. And using Quick Model, you can do the manual J, S, and D, and energy gauge, and draw some really awesome 3D ducts. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you'll check it out. Thanks very much.